Hello, hello. I've been waiting. I haven't sung for a long time. I haven't sung for a long time. I wonder what that is. Hello, hello, anybody? Zero viewers. It is a bit late. Anybody there? Two viewers. Just the two of us. Complaining about music if you try. Maybe that's why I haven't sung for a while. Jesus, what was that? What a fuck. Ryan Swain. Valhalla sausages rise up. Valhalla sausages are swollen and ready. Hey, Dusty Wilson, how's it going? Cascade Explorer. Never suffer. Ryan Swain. Owen, thoughts on session guys doing certain parts of an album to allow the focus to prioritize the live performance and being entertaining? Like, surprising, a lot of songs in the past had session guys on them. So I only care about how the song makes the public feel. That's the only thing that is worth the shit. So if somebody can play the guitar better than me or is a robot that can get the job done while I concentrate on other stuff, then so be it, you know? I don't mind handing over the reins. There's a couple of people, and I don't think they know this, so maybe I should like tell them that I think that my voice and their style of songwriting would be a good mix. Like create a more of a Beatles thing rather than me working on my own music. Because I don't think I got enough to carry on my own over the like nobody really does because everybody's trying it. You know, there's millions of us making our own music and it's not fucking doing anything. But there's a couple of people that I have in mind that I should, when I get time, contact and say, hey, do you want to like maybe spend 2 weeks in my neck of the woods, or you know, so we do the bones of it live together. But yeah, so I'm Ryan. I am all of the above when it comes to the final, you know, the result. And I listened to the new Queens of the Stone Age, and I still think part of that pie was that old bass player, man. You know, I still think like they lost a big chunk when he slapped his bitch up, and it's ironic now that he's been cancelled as well. You know, for doing similar, accused of doing similar things. There's no proof yet. Valhalla sausages are hard, swollen, ready to fuck the pansies in rock. I think some of them would like it. Be the best 2 minutes of their life. I have done something to my arm. You can see that's a bit like, I don't know what the fuck's going on there. When I do this, it's like no bueno. So I went to the doctor and he said, just don't do that and you'll be fine. No lies. Ryan Swain, Owen, I got a sweet deal in Hollywood and wanted your opinion on this. Since live shows in Hollywood are pay to play with immense population and tourism, should I busk and play covers to see what works? What do you mean you got a sweet deal in Hollywood? You mean like rent and stuff? It's good. It's a great place to. I think the Hollywood Guitar Center, or the one that's closest to it. You know the shit they get in there, the guitars they get in there, the old Gibsons they get in there for cheap. Dude, I'd be in there every other day checking it out because if it's for the prices that they have for the old Gibsons, if they are playable, I'd be getting them at that price. But I just don't trust Guitar Center anymore. The last thing I bought from Guitar Center was a old Maestro fuzz, vintage fuzz, and the battery was literally melted and fused to the all of the insides and rusted into the fucking pedal. You know. So today I've been wrapping up all of my cables to see which ones I'm keeping versus what I'm selling. I've probably got about $800 worth of cables I need to sell. Shit gets fucking insane, the price of the stuff that I was buying. But I bought used, so I don't lose any money on it. Evidence audio cables, that's the ones that the cork sniffers like when it comes to gear. So if you ever wonder what the best cables are, it's Evidence audio cables. The ends I don't like. They use the specific. What are the ends that they use? 1/4 inch jacks. They're all right. There's better out there than what they put on them. But Adonis Paradise, hey, how's it going, man? From Australia. What time is it over there? Benjamin. Ghost goes way too hard on the Satan worshiping bit, beyond normal, and it seems corny. Yeah, it's. I think the irony of that is where they come from. A lot of them are atheists anyway, so it's always been a stick. It's always been just a gimmick. So don't take none of that stuff seriously. He's a bit of a troll at the end of the day. Troll. So anyone seen that movie Troll? It's so good. I thought it was going to be shit. Cascade Explorer. Owen, I want to step out of the Vintage 30 cult, thinking about trying some Eminence Texas Heat. Any experience with them? Yes. They're not good, in my opinion. They're too loud. I think I talked about this the other day with the Eminence, with that specific speaker. I think they have like a 200-watt rating or something stupid, like 150 just for one speaker, and they don't move. You could put like 1,000-watt PA through it and the thing wouldn't budge. So it's very stiff. There's no surprises or the way that the excursion on the cone. and it's a very dead, basic speaker. I didn't like any. I tried them all. I didn't like any of. They come out with like fucking 12 speakers or something overnight. Eminence did. I didn't like any of them. I tried them all, and I've been searching. I went on a massive speaker hunt back in the day, and I always kept on going back to 60s, 70s, and 80s speakers. There was no getting around it. That the older ones, to me, for my style, for the shit I was doing, sound better than all the current production stuff. So there's not, yeah, I'd say it depends on the, when people say vintage 30, there's about 8 different types of vintage 30 anyway. You got the Mesa Boogie vintage 30, you got the classic vintage 30 when it first came out, you got the Chinese vintage 30, you got the British vintage 30, and now you got the new Chinese vintage 30. So it's like there's a couple of them and they don't all sound the same. So it's like my favorite of all of the ones is the Mesa Boogie British vintage 30. So it's a little bit mellower in the chiseling ice pick upper mids. I haven't tried out the new Chinese vintage 30. That seems pretty interesting because I think they've been listening to the complaints that the Chinese vintage 30s sound like there's glass breaking on top of the highs. So yeah. So it's 1:38 p.m. in Australia. So you're just slightly tipsy by now. You're not completely blackout drunk yet. Harry Brown, Meliora is such a great album. I think Ghost have. If you forced me to listen to Ghost all night, all different albums, I wouldn't mind. I don't think they've released anything bad. I really like the EP. Was it an EP that they did with Dave Grohl playing and producing? That was a good one, and the first 2 albums are good. Yeah, Harry Brown. It seems like you agree. Adonis Paradise. Oh, and what's your situation releasing original music? I have songs written, and I need to find somebody else to add another dimension to them. So I don't want to release stuff on my own. I want to actually practice what I preach. But recently, I haven't had time to put my heart and soul into it, which I think you need. I don't think you need to be a part timer when it comes to music, unless you're lucky. There are a lot of lucky accidents that happen, but I prefer to do it the hard way. Adonis Paradise. You got all that gear, knowledge, talent. You left out looks. What do you intend to do with it all? I was going to start my own. I was going to buy a large property, and I was going to be a pre-production producer. Was my, and obviously I could just be a regular local studio as well. But that was my plan. But since I live in the real world, and I realize that guitar, rock, and metal is dying, which is what my speciality's in. I'm gonna sell all my gear. So yeah, this by the end of the year, I think I would have sold practically everything. I'm keeping the main stuff that I like, but the rest of it is on its way out. So I sold my 2020 Les Paul Standard the other day. Sold some power amps. I've sold some pedals recently. So yeah, I'm chipping away at it. I got the rest of the year to do it for tax reasons. Harry Brown, Dave Grohl produced them. I did not know that. Yeah, I think he did one of their EPs, or at least, and he was involved at least, where he was doing like ABBA cover versions and stuff. Benjamin, I really enjoyed your DAW video, being a killer of writing. in this time of finite art. What's your opinion on ChatGPT and new hits being obviously written by AI? Yeah, it's really the proof is going to be in the, because like when people look back on old classics, people were complaining about them, right? So people used to complain about Duran Duran and this is trash, and then after the years, it's like, oh, these are classics. So I'm wondering if shit like Watermelon Sugar and that type of thing, is that going to be like a fucking Bee Gees classic in 30 years time? You know what I mean? So it's hard to. Chat GPT can only be judged in the future, so to see how how people react to the music, and if it becomes legendary. So that's the only way you can judge it, really. And it couldn't do any worse than what's being written right now, or at least being chosen by the labels, the lobbyists. They might have better. I'd fucking get AI to replace the A&R people more than writing music, because that's where the fucking problem is. The A&R people are just not even finding talent now. Ryan Swain. Oh, and what city gives the best value near Sarasota? I'm going to be settling a lawsuit for potentially tens of millions, possibly hundreds of millions, depending on the details of similar cases. Thanks for the help. Value. I would steer clear of Sarasota. I'd stay clear of Florida, because I'm getting the fuck out of here. I don't know, man. I think the market's going to be nuts over the next 2 years. I don't think it's going to hold at this level. So you might not, in a year's time, you might not have to worry about where you go. You can choose to go wherever you want. Paj Mahaj, do I think a band like Black Midi, no, could lead? Oh, okay, good. You said prog, so that's good. Do I think a band like Black Midi, sorry, chat's moving, could lead the way for prog in the future? I think Black Midi had a chance because it had urban aspect to it. So yeah, if prog was going in that direction, I'd prefer it, because it's not, prog by numbers that we get with metal. So yeah, they stood out like a sore thumb because they weren't the fucking usual rock metal prog that we're used to. They just need to work on hits. So when you said, are they going to be the next big thing, I was going to say no, but in the prog world, they're probably as big as it gets right now, right? Travis Spaulding, the worst thing about music is that people make it. Mike Patton. Mike Patton's been a hater, an absolute fucking mayhem, black metal level, indie fucking hater of everything since he was a teenager. He is just I bet he's such a he's been moaning about music since fucking day one. The very first interview I saw of him, he was complaining about the state of rock, state of music, and this and that. And in my opinion, everything he's done outside of fucking Faith No More has been shit. I think he's been fucking terrible. Mr. Bungle was shit. I had a fucking shirt in the 90s of Mr. Bungle. And I thought they were okay. I only bought the shirt because I was fucking amazed that it was in the store I was at. And then after further listening to it, I'm like, you know what? This shit's fucking mid. It's like just, fishbone shit. And I think everything he's done has been completely overrated versus what he did with fucking Faith No More. And some people go out of their way to mention like certain bands that he's been involved in, or the Fantano type of stuff, where this hero worship. And he does have one of the best voices, in rock and metal, but all of his other shit is so overrated, overblown. Fucking this thing he did with Scott Ian recently was trash. The thrash stuff. It's like, yeah, nah. That's just me. It's a lot like the King Gizzard Lizard, where if you corner somebody and ask them to sing a song, they're not gonna know one. You know, they just mention the band because it's what the cool kids fucking talk about. You know, Mr. Bungler mid, high energy, live. I give him that, but it's like, yeah. Ryan Swain. I have multiple family members in Sarasota and Venice, as well as people I grew up with. I was thinking about buying when DeSantis has to resign for a term of the next governor election because of the drop. I think Florida's going to hold, to be honest, because a lot of people flooded from California and New York and New Jersey, and their money isn't going to disappear anytime fast. So I can't see there being a big drop in Florida. Lerna, why In Flames is the best band in the world? In my opinion, that whole era is part and parcel of what ruined rock and metal in the first place. So that production, vintage 30, 5150 with a boost. You know what I mean? At least they had some sing along choruses and stuff, you know? Well, scream along. Yeah, In Flames pretty much ruined technical metal. You know, the direction everything was going in. It sounds like Andrew WK disco mixed with fucking, you know, necrophagist. Travis Bolden. It's a quote from an interview he did during the Angel Dust sessions. He was eating a sandwich throughout the interview. Lol. Yeah, he's probably been obnoxious, right? During the interview. And opening with his mouth and talking with his mouth full. Because he's a bad boy. He's a fucking nerd. He did fuck Mariah Carey though. Peak Mariah too. Scott, selling most of your gear and leaving the state. So what's your plan for the future? It depends on the state of real estate, on what we do. So still, it's just going to be an adventure. Maybe we'll end up staying here. I don't know, but I don't want to. Put it that way. But it won't kill me if we stay. I'm just down. I'm fucking down with Florida. It was 100 degrees the other day. Val Madness. Owen, what are your favorite bands? My favorite bands, Type of Negative. I love The Who. There's obviously old. It's usually you gotta put old ahead of everything. But there's bands like Whiplash, Sabbath, Extol, things like that. So Testament. Pash Mahash. Oh, you're wearing a Slayer shirt? Name 5 songs. If you're going to stump a Slayer fan, say name 5 songs after the year 2000, and they'd be, Adonis Paradise. I agree 100%. Mike Patton is just aesthetically interesting. Yeah. He must be just fucking insufferable. People ask, like, why did Big Jim leave the band? And I'm like, I think I know exactly why he left that band. Listening to that fucking holier than thou, obnoxious fucking music journalist come student all day and all night, I'll be like, fuck, get me out of here. He went on to grow record-breaking pumpkins. I wonder what he used. It sounded like a Marshall and a Flying V. It sounded like what was on the tin, but his speakers were interesting sounding. His speakers sound like what they put in the early Silver Jubilee cabinets. That's what it sounds like. I wonder if it's that era. Maybe that came a little bit later though. Ryan Swain, I think California, New York, etc. moved there because of DeSantis. When he leaves, there will be a mass migration elsewhere, given how much of a one-off DeSantis is. DeSantis is another government plant, another lobbyist plant. He says the right thing to the right and does the right thing to the right on paper, but in a former life, he was a Navy lawyer, and he was in Gitmo, overseeing the illegal torture of mostly innocent Muslims. So he is part of the fucking, Boeing, the war industrial complex. He's just another fucking empty suit. So they're very clever, though. They are very clever at pretending to be what you think they are, But he is just a stooge. But I take him over Biden, just even though they're practically the same thing. Michael E. Thom. My wife and I go to death metal shows in Dallas every month for the last 2 years, and the crowds keep getting bigger. Nearly a full house every night, every event for new and old school death metal bands. I bet it's mostly old school, all right. I don't think you can get a full house from a very new, young death metal band that nobody knows the name of. Yeah, I'm not saying metal never existed. So if you're in major cities, there's still the old school can fill big venues. Nathan, Type of Negative was great. Yes, they were. Adonis Paradise. Is Florida humid like Thailand? Yep. And it has mosquitoes like Thailand. So when you see the idyllic pictures of this, that, and the other, it doesn't show you the fucking mosquitoes. It doesn't show you the fact that you can barely breathe. Christopher D. My mother-in-law lives in Florida. It's a bummer to go and visit there all the time. We're trying to get her to come back to Michigan. Michigan's beautiful. I've stayed about 4 months in Royal Oak in Michigan. Brian Swain. COVID freedom drove them there because DeSantis and his policies. Yeah. Whether we like it or not, those policies are viewed as DeSantis policies. If you're going to sell, I'd not chance it. Yeah. Yeah, he did good during the COVID. I'll give him that. But the lobbyists have to create a hero that people can rally around. So they can't all be Nancy Pelosi's. You know what I mean? The lobbyists who make you think there's left and right, there isn't. They got to give you a WWE character to cheer for, Nathaniel. Mike Patton was great in I Am Legend. Laverna. Do I like Buckethead? No, I think he's overrated. I think I honestly think his shredding is mid. I know a lot of people in my Facebook group can play just as good as that, and can write as just as many hits as he has, which is 0. Charles Wagner, yep, it's all a show. Charles Wagner, nobody crosses the IMF. Yeah. That's why I never got big in Bitcoin and stuff like that, because I do not trust, with one wave of a pen, they can make it illegal. You know, if you go up against old money, that's the only, on paper it's fucking sound, but with how corrupt the government is and the banking cartels, they're not going to allow it to replace the dollar or whatever digital currency they come up with. What the fuck? Bob. Laverna. Slipknot is the worst band ever. I disagree. Rock and Vida. Fed now is the beginning of the end. Uh-oh. Flea market floppy disk. What percentage of underground bands program the drums now? Holy shit. It's at least the shoots of recovery are starting to pop off, because when it comes to a lot of buzz, the hardcore scene is getting a lot of it recently, and a lot of that is regular drums. But they're not trying to capture themselves honestly. They're trying to make themselves sound lo-fi. So that is kind of contrived. I'd rather have a chaotic band try and mic themselves up better so we can hear what they sound like in a room. But they're doing the one microphone fucking hipster shit. Laverna, how dare me? Buckethead's my hero. Yeah, sorry, man. I guess it's because I went through, because I'm old as fuck. So I went through the shrapnel phase. So Buckethead was, you know, couldn't hold a candle to most of those guys, and those guys would have hooks and stuff like that. It's kind of random, and I fucking hated his tone. I hated it. It sounded like a pod. Yeah, Avi. I heard Klaus wants to get rid of tube amps in the name of climate change. Yeah, no gas stoves, no tube amps. Black Ritz metal classics. Owen, if you were to record drums with only two mics, how would you do it? That's a fucking good question, but honestly, shit. I wouldn't put one on the bass drum and one overhead, because it wouldn't. I would just do fucking two room mics. You start to go walk around the room, you hear where it sounds best, put one there, and then put one in the other side of the room, which would sound best. It doesn't necessarily have to be close. The thing you have to look out for in that type of scenario is cymbals and bleed and washing and hi-hats spike through everything, and everything just sounds too splashy. So it's a move it. You got to move it, move it. Cascade Explorer. Owen, did I ever get into any of the Doom scene? I did. Uh, a band. Who's my favorite Doom band? Uh, shit. Dozer. I think Dozer are probably my favorite. You guys, I think they're like a Scandinavian band, maybe. I might be wrong. They might be American, but it's a band called Dozer, and they brought out a couple of fucking amazing albums. I think Mastodon singer sang on one of them, but yeah, fucking some of the heart-rendering lyrics from them, and it's like it hits you right in the chest. The vocals are just as heavy as um the guitars, and that's what I liked about it. Anyone heard of them? Nobody really mentions them very often. Just what behave. Yeah, Doza, fucking kick-ass band, man. Adonis, what if bedroom producers collaborate with other bedroom songwriters to make killer albums on the cheap? That's a good idea. It's a good idea, man. Scott, did Judas Priest have one last great album in them? I don't know, man. I don't know. It's all a bit vanilla sausage now with them. It's Andy Sneap. Charles Wagner, they're really afraid of gas ovens for some reason. It's fucking crazy, man. It's almost like they're trolling us. Yike glue, kick and overhead. Yeah, it's tricky. It's tricky with two. I wouldn't just do the kick and I just get a basic spread, because if you have one on the kick, that's going to overload everything else, and then you have one chance with one mic because the kick's going to overpower the other one. Maybe you can find a balance. I'm no expert on drums because I am classic vanilla sausage. Laverna, doom metal is for sad doomers. Doom metal is it's annoying now. It does remind me of people who like craft beer, you know, where that's become their fucking identity. Wearing the fucking trucker hats and everything. Yeah. Never suffer. The Glyn Johns technique. That's two overheads, right? Never suffer. I might be wrong. There's one pointing down or some shit and one like at an angle. Black Ritz Metal Classics. The best doom bands are the 80s bands that existed before doom metal was coined the term. More originality, decent variety of songs. Yeah. Cascade Explorer. Yeah, Doza is definitely one of the greats in doom. That's good. I'm glad there's other fans around. I think they deserve way more plaudits. Whatever label had them did such a disservice not promoting them or, you know, getting them on bigger tours and stuff, because they can do it live too. Never Suffer Arch 3 mics for the Glyn John. Ryan Swain. Owen's thoughts on Saudi Arabia, Dubai, etc. You think the USA hates them because they're very much aligned with traditional value systems and can't be bought out because of the Quran. What did Trump say? Where he kind of turned a blind eye to all their like hate crimes and everything because they buy missiles from us. Yeah. The same people who tell the Saudi royalty what to do are the same people that program Biden's teleprompter, put it that way. It's all a fucking game. Ryan Swain, I would buy other cheap mics and just jam and record. Don't use two mics. You got other options for very little amount of cash. Yeah, you know, Guns N' Roses, Appetite for Destruction, every mic was an SM57. That was on the drum kit. All of them. Cymbals, fucking bass drum, all of it. So I think they might have done some processing on the drums afterwards, because sometimes the snare sounds a little bit too like the gated snare type of thing, but it really is learning to use the mics rather than how many and where to put them. And it's really because every kit is different. Every drum size is different, and every room is different. And so it's every cymbal. One's thinner. This is splashier, and the others are like deader. So it's like you can't talk about it without having the kit in the room. But I was actually not that bad at miking up drums, being I'd never done it before. So I listened to old recordings I did with real drums, and it's like, oh, it's not bad. You can hear it though, the difference between a bedroom twat and a real producer, the difference in drums. Shit. Yeah, drums is not my forte. Even when I program them, I don't give them a second thought because I don't even mix drums. Only volume on each one. I guess that's mixing, but Avi, Owen, what's your favorite DAW and favorite brand of plugin? Our favorite brand of plugin is Easy. It's Sound Toys. I think they have the best sounding ones. My favorite DAW, the new Cakewalk is really good. It's really good. Because before it, when Gibson owned it, funnily enough, it was a fucking buggy mess. But since it got bought out by the Chinese, it runs like a dream and it's free. So you have to install another app. What's it called? I think it's on this one. Hold on. BandLab. So you have to install BandLab, which is a bit of a pain in the ass, but it's always been my favorite. I've tried a couple. Studio One, they were good. It's good, but for the type of music I do, it's not great for if I was into EDM and loops and stuff like that. It's not good for that. It's good for tracking instruments, but the MIDI editing aspect of it is pretty shit. So yeah, so it's free. Go get it. Never suffer. One in front for kick, one side for hi-hat, and overhead pointing to kick pedal. Okay. Yeah, I know the one you're talking about. Black Ritz. In my case, the reason I'd only be using two mics is my SSL only has two inputs. Yeah. Yeah, just do uh yeah, that's what I would do. The two inputs. Ryan Swain, just buy multiple mics. Oops, from Harley Benton. Yeah, you might be able to find a if you want to use more mics, and you can buy mixers now for $50 and mix a stereo out into your DAW with the two inputs, so you can use multiple mics that way. It's good practice too. Charles Wagner, there's a resurgence of people recording to old Tascam multi-tracks. Those preamps were great, to be honest. Yeah, still, you know, the 16-bit thing is usually on them. So yeah, get a bit crispy in the cymbals in the top end. Ryan Swain, Owen's favorite plugin is don't buy it. Use regular. It's true. I stopped buying plugins. The reason I found out Soundtoys is good is because they used to give freebies away. So they were like smaller functional versions of their software, little plates, um, little radiator and stuff like that. And then I found that the meat of what you need it for is in those small plugins, and also less knobs. You get less fatigue, twiddling fatigue. But yeah, I don't buy plugins anymore. A lot of the free ones are pretty good. Oh, you have this one? I couldn't believe it when SSL brought out a cheap one. So I haven't actually used it much. I was using it. I was going to use it for something else. But I tell you what, since we were talking about preamps, let's put you up here. You want to talk preamps? The only reason I have this brick. Hopefully, it's not plugged into anything. This is the Tascam UH7000. This, when it comes to the actual converters and preamps, and it's so fucking silky. I only keep it for Sunday best. So if I'm gonna do a vocal, if I'm gonna do anything that involves the good, I'll put it through that as well. So, and Tascam, I'll never trust anything they do ever again, because they went ahead, and there's Burr Brown in there. It's fucking beautiful stuff inside there. And they went ahead, released this work of art, and the drivers were absolute dog shit. So they have a mixer out now, because it is true, the old Tascam preamps are good. Underrated, to put it that way. They have a new mixer out now, which has everything I need. Everything, all the mixers, the faders, it would have been perfect for this room. But I won't do it because I'm so afraid of the drivers. Was it going to last? The drivers basically lasted 2 years, and they were shit then. So, yeah. I know what happened. They obviously did a lot of R&D on it, spent a lot of money on it. They had some good audiophile guys put it together, and it didn't sell as well as they thought. So then they just abandoned it. That's what happened. And every time one pops up, I'll buy it for cheap. I'll buy it. But now people have gotten onto it. They cottoned on to how good the preamps are, and now they're selling for as much as they did when they were first released. They're like $400. So I'm like, fuck. But yeah, if you see one and you're into that type of thing, because preamps don't matter, sound really doesn't matter. It's the performance, because everything is so good now. Even the entry level DAW, that's only going to give you the 5%, the magic shit that I used to think mattered, you know? My back's fucking killing me. That's funny, isn't it? You bring up old Tascams and it's fucking nerding out. I literally have a Tascam. Adonis. Oh, and I have a Mackie VLZ Pro and a Great River, but I have trouble telling the difference with vocals. Are preamps overrated, or is my hearing bad? The Mackie, actually, I think that has Onyx preamps. I think, and Onyx preamps are good. So Mackie used to be the prosumer thing back in the day, where it was just below the SSLs and all the other stuff. But you can't go fucking wrong with a Mackie. I have one. I have one in the garage. Great River. I hear good things about them, but I've never had one to see if it's any good. But if you want the good, I don't know about the new current production Chameleon Labs, right? But my old Chameleon Labs preamps, you're hearing one through my voice now. They're so fucking good. They're so they're Neve copies, you know. But I think now those things are starting to skyrocket too. But if you can find you have to have the power supply with them. That's a bit awkward because the power supplies ain't cheap. But holy shit, they're good. That's one of the things I'm not selling. They'll be wrapped and boxed, and wherever I end up next year, they'll be coming with me. I'm lucky enough to have, how many channels do I have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I have 5 channels of that, so I can get, if I do end up having a studio, at least I can have some glory channels in my setup. And Droma, I like the Droma and the DBX, the old DBX compressors, and they are cheap too. So what I do is I go through them. I get the preamps in, and unless I fall in love with them, they're back out. Because it's like if you don't hear the difference on the Great River, that'll be out, But with that, I was like, holy shit. At first, it creeped up on me of how much, usually when you have to add EQ to something, usually you should re-record it again, with the mic. You can move the mic to a different position to get less high end or whatever. But with these things, I was finding that I could get happy accidents, even if I was missing certain frequencies. If I add or subtract them, because usually, you're supposed to only want to subtract and not add through software, through VST software. But with analog gear, you can get away with adding. And I found that with these, where it was the distortion on them, it is. I think that's what I like about them, because on the old preamps, on the old Neve style preamps, they get very distorted when you crank up the input. So it's like, and I like the type of distortion it is, because I'm so used to everything being so pristine. It's when I fuck it up with these a little bit, it sounds more old school. It sounds more analog and silky and whatever stupid fucking words you want to call it. So yeah, Chameleon Labs. If you find those popping up for cheap, grab them. Come a chameleon. Black Ritz Metal Classic. But yeah, I suppose I could just buy a piece of shit Behringer interface with 4 inputs just for drums. Yeah. A lot of the best guys are using Behringer. Some of the best Testament albums were recorded with Behringer. Charles Wagner, Adonis, you deaf, bro. Get a Neve Shelford preamp. Is that all? Vegas Lounge Act. Metal will never be dead to me. That's right, brother. It's not you I'm worried about. It's the next generation I'm worried about. Adonis Paradise. Different mics. You got an AT4022, an NT1, SM57. That's a good batch. Laverna, you probably think Kill Switch is better than In Flames. When they first came out, I thought they were both equally lame. I think Kill Switch just was better in the long term. I think they had better classic appeal, if you will. But yeah. Abby. Interesting. I still use Sonar 8.5.3. Holy shit, Sonar. That was a piece of shit. Tried the newer ones and it was a mess indeed. We'll give the free one a try now. Yeah. Oh, dude, Reaper is great. Yeah, but to give the new one a try because it's free and it comes with plugins too. So, Ryan Swain, I was saying go Harley Benton for new products and new interfaces. Obviously, could get better value used, but it's hit or miss. I don't know how Harley Benton is fucking legal. How cheap is that shit, man? It's fucking crazy. Charles Wagner, Reaper Gang. We got somebody on Twitch. Metal isn't dead. How dare you, sir? How dare you? The only question I have is the one I ask everybody. Who's the young teenage Guns N' Roses? Who's the young teenage Metallica? Who's the young teenage AC/DC or Iron Maiden? Just answer me that to prove me wrong. Cascade Explorer. Have I had a chance to play through any of the 20 watt Marshall heads? No. And I've tried a lot of um the 20 waters, and they just can't do it in the low end. They just can't. There's just a chest thing. I think they're perfect for the bedroom brigade because nobody turns up anyway these days. So it's better than VST, but generally I can't with the 20 waters. It's not me, it's you. Charles Wagner, don't talk to me about converters and preamps if you're not rocking a Burl mothership. Do you know what a lot of these companies overlook is the actual components of the internal wire and stuff. A lot of them overlook that shit. Discrete circuits for the win. Scott, is Pro Tools worth the price? It depends. I say today no. 20 years ago, I would have said yes because just to get in the industry, you'd have to know how to use it. But now it's a little bit. You can get away with not using Pro Tools. But there is no industry now for us rock and metal people. Ryan Swain, DAWs are like guns. When you use a DAW like it's intended to be used, which is a cheaper option than tape, but the process stays the same. It can make practically identical if the user knows how. Yeah, DAWs have just been abused just for the easy drums. It's literally called Easy Drummer. Easy keys, easy tempo. It's like that takes all of the metal and rock out of it. Just staying in tempo takes half of the battle, half of the sauce out of the fucking gravy. Avi, what's your opinion on the UA Apollo interfaces? I think they might be worth the hassle just because it takes the grunt work from the CPU. So when it comes to audio sound, I don't think they're any better than the Tascam, the UH700, 7000. Um, I just think they're good tech for if you're running a lot of plugins and that type of shit. You just get less. They're just it's like RME. It's not going to sound any better, but it's going to run smoother with better, really good drivers. So it's like, so if some of the shit that I've had to put up with interfaces like the Tascam, you know what I mean? When it comes to drivers, it's been a pain in the ass. Adonis Paradise, the 1202 VLZ is pre-Onyx. Okay. Oh, it's an old one then. You still can't go wrong. Charles Wagner, Avid is done. Apollo is trash. I'm going to take a quick break for a second. I will be right back. Tell you what, people, checking in for all you guys with no kids, right? Just a simple thing like checking in on your kid while he or she is sleeping. They are the cutest things, man. If you want a nice little rush of endorphins and just happy feelings, just go on and look at your child gently sleeping. It is the cutest goddamn thing. I couldn't have pictured anything more perfect. Go check they're still alive now and then, you know? Black Ritz Metal Classics. What are the best plugins for mastering? Probably um, McDSP. I'd say McDSP. Ozone are good if you want to switch your brain off and just let them do it because they have a good algorithm for Isotope, is it? Yeah, UA is good if your computer's crap. Yeah, but then again, Windows is kind of crap. They're just general architecture on motherboards are crap. The way that it shares resources via USB, and it's a USB cable. You know, how ridiculous is the USB naming process? It is insane. You got USB, you got USB. What are we up to now? USB C. Then you had USB C -1. Then you had I think there's about 4 different speeds of USB C. It's nuts, man. And it's still there, even if you have a USB C port on your interface, they're still all using USB 2 era fucking speeds. So it's pointless. Yeah. It's part of the reason why I kind of like interface cards when it comes to audio because it leaves out the USB fucking shenanigans. Yeah. The key value add of UA is the low latency monitoring. Yep. Yeah, Glue, you have a bunch of UA interfaces. Do you know which one? Did any of them sound better than the next when it came to the actual preamp action? So your live tracking setup is 8 channels of UA and 8 channels of Audient via ADAT. Yeah, I'm using Audient ID 44 right now, the first version of it. And I think it does have I could interface one of the octo preamps into that, I think, digitally. I think I can then up my inputs, but right now I only need 4. It's got 4 in the back. Audience sounds weird in the high end. Yeah. I don't think the Audient audio is anything special. I don't think it was as good as the Tascam UH7000 when it comes to the audio, but it is solid. It's solid when it comes to the software-ish. You know, there's a great little program called Latency Mon that you can install, and it'll show you what Windows programs could be causing your audio latency. So some NVIDIA drivers cause shit. Some motherboard drivers will cause shit with that. That's why I say there's a lot of value in, even though it's expensive with the UA shit. It'll save you a lot of headaches. Yeah, Glue. I think there are good alternatives, like maybe with the PreSonus Live AVB interfaces. Yeah, the PreSonus Live were interesting. So Charles Wagner, when you say the audience sounds weird in the high end, I think the Certain of them have different converters. I think the ID44 has better converters than the ID14, so you might have had the 14 or something. I hear a bog standard, very flat, very no frills audio to mine. There's nothing that stands out in the top end or whatever. But I tried some Focusrite stuff, but that was pretty cloudy in the top end. Even though it's a pleasing when you're dealing with digital audio, you have no noise floor or anything. So sometimes that lack of top end can help. Rally VW thoughts on the band Blind Guardian. They were I get it with them. They were pretty groundbreaking for the mellow death type of scene, but I never really got into them. They're a little bit softer on the edges for me for some reason. I don't know. Yeah, Glue, the amount the UA interfaces can do has been very useful. I've tracked live drums with headphones, guitar, bass, made possible by the amp sims. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, to get the bones of the track down when they're just using sims, so you don't have to plug the whole band in. But that does result in vanilla sausages. Yeah. Charles Wagner, Apollo is not good frequency response wise. Yeah, I haven't had that much experience with them, to be honest. Charles Wagner, DSP is a novelty in the age of quantum computing. Don't get me started on that shit. Ryan, very funny. Well, I'm behind in comments. All right, let's have a speed round. Ryan's brain. Owen, I think AI would benefit rock and metal. It can emulate sounds and audio, but the performance aspect will be an advantage if taken. I just don't think AI could do any worse than what's going on currently. I think anything's going to be fucking better than what we shit that we're putting up with right now when it comes to lack of talent, lack of songwriting talent, and production talent. Likely. So yeah, that's my spiel about UA. It's a very specific niche. Yeah, you were right. You were right about the performance aspect with plugins, and it's good for that. Blackjack. I hope you're not betting on shaking down musicians as a business model, right? Yeah. Travis Bolden. Electric Callboy is the next Guns N' Roses. Lol. He's getting old now. Fun band though. Christopher D. Since we're nerding out on gear, can you recommend a good pedal power supply for a full board? Um, no, no. Most of them that I've found never do one thing that I want them. Like if the good ones, the good, really good, quiet, solid ones, are always too big to fit underneath the fucking pedal board, and the bad ones are always the ones that fit always have some sort of fucking cross contamination digital noise, or you know they're just not isolated. And so yeah, I don't know, you tell me, man. Ryan Swain, I apologize for the sudden leave on Owen. He's got the keto Hershey squirts. Actually, bitch, I am day 2 of no keto because every so often I go off it to re get back in, because otherwise you'll go insane if you don't have sugar or carbs. constantly, you kind of plateau and you don't lose as much. So right now, my shit is coming out of me like velvet golden nuggets. They're almost perfect. You know, I don't even have to wipe. Travis Baldwin. Anytime I saw someone wearing a Cradle of Filth shirt, I would always tell they needed to check out Hecate Enthroned. That's old school. Cradle of Filth, so good. I always appreciated them from afar. I was never like a massive, massive fan, but every time he pops up, they're just metal, you know. There's a lot of posers in that field, but Danny Filth, all of the hardcore metal guys, they all fucking love him. He's one of them, you know. One of us. Mr. Shiny 2, you like Lou? People be hating on UA because it's so pricey, but as you know, it just sits in the mix well, especially if you have a high track count. UA console is killer. Ben, what's up, man? How's it going? Congrats on fatherhood and adulting. 2 bridges I won't cast. Yeah. It's a fucking lot of work being a dad. Oh my god. I suppose it's a lot of work if you care. Somebody said a joke recently where sometimes you envy deadbeat dads. You know what I mean? It's like, I get it. It's so much fucking work. Holy shit, but she is perfect. And she's a little goblin. Mr. Nobody, yes, John taught Danny how to do his vocals as well. I didn't know that. Shit. Ryan Swain. Oh, asked that already. So Charles Wagner, you're all about the Dante converters? That's good to know. I think converters are not such a big a deal as they used to be. Some audio files fainting. Avi, what's my dream chain for scream metal vocals? It will be 1073. Shit. Do you know what? I don't even know when it comes to screaming. They all use SM7s for screaming, all the big producers. I think that's only to protect the good shit from fucking ugly metal singers, you know? Yeah, but I think I like 2 levels of compression on the vocals on the way in. Just 2 subtle ones. I think that's the best of. Warren Hurt actually has a good video on his vocal chain. Check that out because he does know his way around vocals when it comes to regular vocals. I'm not sure what screamers. Go with the Cranborn, Bill Mothership 16. Dude, you fucking rich, bro. Avi, I think USB 3 audio drivers are going to take a while to mature. Yeah, the company's not justifying it because on paper USB 2 should be able to handle audio easy. But it doesn't, does it? We all have latency. We all have fucking everything chugging and glitches, and it's frustrating. USB through audio, it's always given me fucking problems, man. Ryan Swain, Owen, do you think your viewers would buy Owen's Rockin' Jankum Jazz? I think they would love to have the fumes of fail Rockstar giving advice so the younger guys don't fall down the rabbit hole. That's a bit rough. I won't shout at anyone. Likely, oh, and I can't tell the differences in preamps that much, man. Yeah. I tend to think that with me and preamps, it's what they destroy. It's what they destroy or convert. Because I don't want it to sound like pristine. I want some fuzz to be on the nuts, you know? So that's why I like the Neves, because they're not clean. They're filthy. Like when I do vocal tracking, I use the Neve or API. But with live drums, good. I do use a bidet, Charles Wagner. If you, I'll have you know. The Zeke 1970. Have I ever listened to Boris? Yes. Very, very fucking. That one video they did with the guy in the motorbike with the plane and the rest of it. That song is fucking amazing. It's so good. Yeah, Boris are great. It's a lot of that type of music, you know, with the um, industrial, experimental type of stuff. They go right up their own asses with the music usually, but with them, they at least put some oomph into it. They put some tits on it, you know. So yeah, very good band. Ben, how? Owen, what's my thoughts on the folk song by the Pogues? I always appreciated the punk influence and Elvis Costello. Elvis Costello was great, man. Yeah, the Pogues. I really with the British. They weren't like. I think the Americans gravitated towards the Pogues more than the Brits did. They were kind of a big deal in Britain, but I still see him as a Christmas band. It wasn't a huge, yeah, it wasn't a huge the Pogues fan. Elvis Costello's the G. Charles Wagner. Personally, I use the Burl B2 for rock and metal, but man, the JCF ADA converter sounds amazing. JCF, good to know, bro. Star0777, yeah. How's it going, man? Sneaking in late again. Let me give you a prop one. Let's get it. Ow, remember I hurt my hand. I did something to both of my fucking forearms. So I got like a limp fucking horns today. Uh oh. YouTube's trying to do something. Let's have a look. I like dicks. Wait, we're on the Twitch. Oh, and two questions. One, I think AI would benefit rock immensely because of the live aspect. I read your shit earlier. Sorry, man. I'm not picking up on the Twitch. I'm just learning chat. I might have to give my old ass some time to catch up on how to do this seamlessly. All right. Yeah, Charles Wagner, a B Day is just fucking life changing. Gets right in there. AV, am I a fan of early cough, the corrosion of conformities? Oh no, Circle of Frost. guitar tone. There's something about it to me. Those chords sound so smooth. It's like the guitar hasn't even been picked. Is that compression? No. Celtic COF. What am I thinking? Who the fuck is COF? I'm fucking blanking. Cradle of Filth. Sorry, man. I'm fucking retarded. I am a fan of their old guitar tones. They're very it's hard to explain, isn't it? It's a good. They generally have a really good original guitar sound. Hey, speaking of Cradle of Filth, Goth Rocker 7. How's it going, man? With the $5. Keep rocking. Check your emails from me. Happy I caught the check. All right, I'll check it out, man. Yeah, Goth Rocker is a big fan of them. Mr. Shiny too. If you think being a dad is a lot of work now, wait until they turn 13. Oh my god. I think maybe like if I put my hours in now, that they won't be an absolute cunt when they're 13, you know? It's like hedging my bets. So I do the work now so I can retire early when it comes to them raising themselves. So the Zeke 1970, the new song by Boris, has some killer riffs. Yeah, I haven't heard the new one, but I think I posted Boris on the Facebook group a while back. Ryan Swain. He posted in the January 6th subreddit saying that January 6th isn't an insurrection. Yeah, it's the feds were fucking like 20% of the insurrectionists were like feds. Going, oh, I hope you don't push that over. It's bullshit, man. Avi on Cradle of Filth. Yeah, they're not huge sounding guitars, but they raw as fuck. The evil tone. They do have an evil tone. It's like they used to have a really modern tone for the period that we were doing. They were kind of ahead of the curve when it came to the darker, blackened, hyper metal tone. It was fucking great, man. They're just a one off band. I should listen to more of them. I should get back into the era because I was kind of put off by the image, to be honest. Ben, I know you love typo, but did I ever get into Candlemass? No, not really. I did appreciate them when I hear them, but I was now they were always a tiny bit too cheesy for me. Ryan Swain, I destroyed Reddit just when they tried to debate my take on January 6th. Danila Bilnov. Cheers. Where has the bass through a guitar amp video gone? I wanted to share it recently, but it wasn't there. It's so fucking janky, that old video, that I took it down because I don't think I explained what to do and what not to do good enough. So, I didn't want some teenager putting a guitar through his dad's fucking old vintage cabinet. You know what I mean? Goth Rock a 7 with a 5. Type of Negative is still my all-time favorite, but also love Cradle of Filth and their sound. Du-du-du. Mr. Nobody, right. Some people refer to COS releases from 10 years ago as early. I would say A Vampire and Cruelty are great guitar tones, though the band disagrees. But yes, Compression for sure. Yeah. There's a lot of bands hate their early shit. And like the guitarist Danzig, he hates like the guitars and sound on Danzig 1. I'm like, are you fucking serious? It's like the best you ever did. Abby, have you heard the guitar tone on Dissection's Rain and Chaos? It might be somewhat generic, but it sounds huge in the mix. No, I haven't. That one, I don't recall that one. Danzig 1 is the best. Danzig 2 a close second. Yeah. But it's funny when other musicians, like Testament hated one of their albums so much, they re recorded the whole thing, and the re recording was like beyond Vanilla Sausage, and it just fucking tanked. It's very surprising sometimes where your expectation of the bands that they despise their old stuff. Like Alice in Hell by Annihilator, he can't stand playing it, but it slaps. How does he not? But then again, he's probably played it a million times. Mr. Shiny 2, a good ribbon mic for that smooth guitar tone. Yeah, you can't beat a good ribbon. There is a what shit mic did I buy that really surprised me that was a ribbon mic? Fuck, I can't remember. But yeah, I kept one ribbon mic. I've had the Fatheads and all those ones before, but this one, shit, I can't remember the brand of it. It's been so long since I've had these mics out. It's such a shame. It's almost like I had a child. Ben Howard, James Hetfield literally lifted Danzig's vocal style. Yeah, there's a lot of the mannerisms. Riley VW, the guitarists of Blind Guardian hate their first two records as well, even though they're some of the best speed and thrash metal from the late 80s. Yeah, they were ahead of their time, man. Ryan Swain, you putting the world to rights, man, on the Reddit. It's weird, man. You're not going to change anyone's mind. It might be better to, you know, not give them, not give them the benefit of your time. Riley VW, Battalions of Fear and Follow the Blind slap hard. It's going to be interesting to see what pops up this year. I just have a bad feeling that the deathcore craze from Rona Shore and everything. I have a bad feeling that's going to take a long time to disappear because now the how to Scream videos are making a comeback with, XYZ vocal coach listens to Lorna Shore, and then they go viral, and then they keep on going viral. And now all the bots are going to be trying to fucking chasing that old, new sound. So I don't know, man. Metal is fucked right now. Maybe something's going to pop out of the hardcore scene. Maybe, but it's going to need some very big characters and some big lyrics and some hooks for it to get anywhere near where it used to be. Goth Rocker 7, Cradle of Filth did a great cover of Valse and Hell. You should check it out on their album. Yeah, I remember that. If anyone could do that, Alice, it's him. Yeah, Ben, please God, no more deathcore. It's like, it was dying. It was practically dead. And then they had to go and release that fucking song, didn't they? Just brought it all back. So yeah, we have to put up with more bots. So black metal is starting to chug a bit. Maybe it's starting to go down in culture. I'm hoping. But there's no new scenes. Does anybody know a not new style, a whole style of music, but is there any bands popping up recently that might have gone under the radar? Just let me know. Just comment on the video so that I can check later on, because stuff gets lost in the chat. Ben Howard, don't you dare mention hooks, the reason why metal is dead. Yeah. That's why somebody brought up fucking Buckethead earlier, and I was like, the public don't know who he is because he can't write hooks. Apart from obviously instrumentals, but there's still instrumentals out there that the public know about. Yeah, Goth Rocker 7, no new bands. Unto Others, that's a new band. Fugitive by ex-members of Power Trip. Mix of Queensryche and some thrash. That's interesting. I'm dressed for it today. Maybe I will start that mod metal fucking genre, because there's no mod metal. For you kids might not know what a mod is. Flea Market floppy disk. Metallica did a song with Ja Rule. It just goes to show, with Jim's being out of the picture in rehab all the time, how quickly a band made some bad decisions. Yeah, they are fucking running on fumes, man. I always one of my favorite moments of Some Kind of Monster is it was I think the head honcho at Cube Prime Management, like a massive industry mogul, was sitting down listening to the new Metallica material, and you could see in his face he was like, oh no. If this is the new Metallica, and you could see it in his face. He was like, and then Lars' dad was telling him, this isn't very good, you should fucking erase all this. It was fucking, that was my favorite part. Play Maniac by Fugitive. Alright, I'll put that on my fucking list. Goth Rocker 7. I like the fuck you network idea. Not sure if it'll work, but it's a neat idea. Yeah. It's going to be hard to implement. I've started looking into it. It's not going to be easy. Ben, the best was when Lars' dad told him to delete that. Yeah. I would delete that. Yeah, so it's the there hasn't been many sprouts of hope when it's come to new bands. I'd even take like genres that are current and with a really good album coming out of it. You know what I mean? And there's not even that. It's also mid. You know, Eternal Champion, Halas, and Witch Hazel. I can't. I can't. I can't with. It's like it's so in the. It's so been done. Like Ben Hart. Listen to Mr. Scary by Dokken. I used to trash the glam guys, but given the current state of metal, at least there's some balls in there. Yeah, it's got some fucking swagger in those riffs, man. All right, chaps. I'll let you go. It's been a good one. And what is let's just check. Yeah, it's time for me. It's 1 a.m. Time to hit the hay. Have a good one, chaps, and I'll see you